Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to the show. My name is Dan Hafner. Um, Interesting, different show for you guys today. I was sitting here trying to figure out which stories I really wanted to talk about for today, and truly, none of them just really sparked my interest. And I was like, well, if they don't spark my interest, why would they spark anyone else's interest? So I thought I would just come on here and do a quicker episode, probably a shorter one, just to kind of get a little bit back to the roots of this podcast, which is a little bit more of for lack of a better term, motivational, inspirational, just kind of processing thoughts. And that's kind of how all of this started. If you actually go way back in this feed, you'll see that the show at one point was called Run Your Day. And it was very short clips. It's kind of how I got the episode count up a lot higher. But it was short 5 to 10 minute episodes where I would just talk about different things that were going on in my life and my business, kind of things I had learned, things that, lessons I had gleaned from all of the different successes and mostly failures inside of my life and my business and things like that. Um, and to be real, I'm feeling that kind of way today. And I just thought that, not only can this be maybe useful for someone listening, but it's also probably useful for me in terms of a motive therapy or something like that too. Um, but what's on my mind, what's on my heart today, is just uh, you know, overwhelm. I think, and I see it in my life as well as the lives of a lot of people. A lot of my clients, a lot of people that I work with, a lot of people I know, friends, just people that are just kind of just experiencing a lot of different stuff going on all at once, and there's so many plates spinning, and I think that is probably a side effect of the world we live in and how fast everything is just happening now. Like you look at everything, everything happens so much faster. Um, you know, we have access to information at lightning speed. Things go viral now, right? Media is just in a spiral of you know there's massive stories that happen, and then the next week, the next day, a month from now, everything's on to the next thing, and it is distant past. Um, AI is now, I think, accelerating this at a level that's unprecedented. And how do you deal with that as a person? Like how do you, like we can sit here and say like stay focused, block out the noise, um, you know, just focus on signal versus noise. But how do you actually pull that off? Like, how do you logistically? I'm always someone that's I hate, and even when I was doing the show that was a lot about this, I was very not interested in being the guy that was just like, believe in yourself, you can do it, believe it and it'll come true. Like I don't like those types of things. I think there's a time and a place for motivational type of quotes and those kind of corny, cheesy sayings, right? Because I'm more interested in, okay, how do I actually bring that into implementation? I've I've been there's been a thought that's been coming into my mind recently, as my business has been growing, as my life's been changing, as different things have been happening, is this word sustainable, right? How can I do things in a sustainable manner? And by that I mean, okay, I could buckle down and do all these different things, and just work 20 hours a day and just figure things out and just push, 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 push. But that's not sustainable. Like you can't do that for years. I mean, you could, but you're probably going to work yourself to death, right? Even like down to little things like, um, you know, things around your house, chores you have to do around your house as far as, maybe taking out the garbage or cleaning things up or just little, like, all those little systems that kind of run your household, cooking dinner, like doing the dishes, whatever it might be. Like, how do I do those in a sustainable way? And by that, I mean, like, if there's something that's going to be not reminding me or not getting in my way all the time or distracting me, that's not a sustainable thing. That's not some. I want to offload as much mental um, workload as I possibly can, because I know that the more I take on, the more I do, the more things I get involved in, the more shit I forget. Like the more the more things that slip through the cracks and I screw up, whether that's for me, whether that's for my wife, whether that's for my family, whether that's for my clients, whether that's for my dogs, like whatever, whatever it might be, so that's just one word. I think that like sustainable. How can you make things more sustainable in your life, in your business? Because everyone wants to talk about scalable. Everyone wants to talk about scalable. How do you scale this? How do we get to 10K a month, 50K a month, 100K a month? How do we scale this? How do we scale that? It's like it's the buzzword, it's the sexy word. Because everyone wants to know about that. What I'm more interested in is how can I make that scalable or sustainable? I screwed that up. How can I make that sure, if you scale, that's great. But if you scale your way into more misery, what's the point of that? Like what are you left with there? Right? Like that's why they always say, like, especially when it comes down to a business conversation. If you don't have a good process in place, all you're doing is scaling chaos. Because now if you can barely handle doing something for 5 clients, what makes you think you're gonna be able to handle 10 clients or 50 clients or 500 clients? You're just gonna have that much more scale. Like you're gonna those problems are gonna be scaled, not just the money and the revenue and the sexy numbers, right? Like the problems are gonna be scaled up and magnified. um so how do you do that? How do you do that in a world that's moving so fast? How do you do that in a world that's just constantly turning over, constantly on to the next thing, forgetting about this, forgetting about that, the social media bullshit world we live in, right? I mean, one thing that and again, I'm all about the implementation stuff. One thing that I have found to be very effective for me, there's an app that I started using, and I'll share it with you guys. It's called Opal, OPAL, and it is a screen an app blocking app, right? That you just give access to. And it actually makes it so you have to set up focused sections inside of your day, right? And it'll be like, hey, during this time frame, you cannot access whatever apps you say you want to be able to use. And obviously, the main ones that I used were social media and, funny enough, podcasts, right? Even though I'm sitting here doing a podcast, I noticed that if I'm sitting here working, I don't have meetings going on. Um, that's probably the second thing I was going to get to. But when I turn on podcasts, whether it's an educational a podcast, news-based podcast, political podcast, whatever it might be, it steals my brain focus. I can't focus on listening to that and also working on like a client project, let's say. Like I just can't. I've found that my brain does not work that way. It might work for you. You might be able to do that. Me, not so much. Can't do that. Right. So from 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock in the morning until 5 p.m., I have all social media apps and the podcasting apps on my phone completely blocked. I cannot access them, and on my iPad as well. And I'll tell you what, that has literally made a world of difference. Such a simple thing, like such a simple thing, um, that has just really helped me focus and clear out all so much brain clutter that it's I can't even quantify it, honestly. It's kind of ridiculous. So, I know what you're thinking. Probably next is like, wow, that's got to be really boring, Dan. Like, what do you do? Good question. So, in order to replace that void, in order to replace that silence, right, and during those blocks, I use a bunch of tools like I'll even go on YouTube and I'll search for like focus work, deep work, music, that kind of stuff. I don't have the paid version of YouTube, so I end up having to skip ads every once in a while, but that's okay. Um, but even tools like Headspace, which I do have the paid version of, Headspace has the focus music stuff where they have 45-minute blocks, 80-minute blocks, 90-minute blocks. You can even do 8-hour blocks if you want of these kind of focus music things. Um, I don't ever do the 8-hour ones, but that's useful because what I can do is now say, okay, I want to set up a 90-hour block or a 90-minute block, 75-minute block of this particular focus music thing, and I just work until the music stops. Like I don't have to pay attention to the clock. I don't have to pay attention to what time it is. If I'm missing meetings, my phone I put on do not disturb, whatever it might be. And how do I know what's time to stop? Sometimes you can get into something, you feel like you're going to be working on it all day. When the music stops, then you're done. Is the music playing? Yes. Okay, keep working. Well, I'm hungry. That's all right. Don't get up and get a snack. Freaking sit down and keep working. Like, you know what I mean? Again, something just so simple, but yet it just something in me feels like it's worth repeating on a show like this because a lot of us work from home anymore. A lot of us work for ourselves. So people are trying to freelance and do different things. And it's so easy. It's so easy to get caught up in the distractions of this world, all the shit you have going on, the day-to-day life. Um, there's power in blocking everything else out and making room for the one thing. And by the way, the one thing is a phenomenal book. I highly recommend for anyone to get if you're interested in this conversation. I cannot remember the author's name. I have the audio version of it on Audible, but it's called The One Thing, and it is phenomenal book. A lot of people will point to that book. I will also. There has been some stuff over the past weeks that have gone awry in my business, and clients coming back and saying different things and wanting things changed, and not being satisfied with certain things of their platforms, and it's very easy to let those things get to you. It's very easy to feel inadequate. It's very easy to feel like you're not doing a good enough job in those times. But one thing I've learned from being in the software world is that that's perfectly natural. Technology will fail you. It will let you down. It is not something like a belief system to have. You can't put all of your faith and belief in something like you can in God, right? Like you can't put all of your faith and trust in something like a technology platform because it will eventually let you down somehow, some way. It will. It just everyone's experienced that, and I guess I just experienced it on an amplified level because I have so many businesses running on our software and all these different things working, and nothing is perfect. Nothing that we build is perfect. It's never going to be perfect, but we can try to make it as best as we possibly can. And that's one other thing that I've learned is that um, you know being a real person to real people is a very underrated an overlooked and forgotten skill in this day and age where there's AI agents and sales bots and all these different things. Like if you can just prove to people that you're an actual person that gives a shit about them, that goes a very, very long way. It goes a very long way. Like for example, when we have client things that hit the fan or something doesn't work the way it should or whatever, um, people get pissed. People get very pissed off. And understandably, you're depending on something for your business to be able to uh, work and perform as you would expect it to. And I think owning that mistake is the first thing that's hard to do. I've had to own a couple of mistakes that I've made. I'm not a perfect person, which is a hard pill to swallow sometimes. Um, but you have to own that mistake. You have to learn from what happened and make a correction and a plan to move on and improve things. And then you just have to, you know, be kind and courteous to people at all times. I think that's one of the golden rules, right? Like that is the golden rule. Treat people as how you would want to be treated. Um, Even when it's very easy when someone's in your face or sending you a nasty email or something to get very triggered and irritated by that and want to lash back out. Um, but you know, I think being able to keep your cool, keep your composure, is always a good thing. It is never going to not be a good thing to be able to develop in yourself. And in the world of social media, it's very easy to lash out, be a keyboard warrior, do this, do that. It's all via online, right? It's not even something that's a super. It's not like you have a physical threat to you by someone shouting something at you on Facebook comments. Um, but words can cut deep. I don't really ever like that saying. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words never hurt me. Words actually hurt a lot. Like they hurt a lot. They can cut deeper than the deepest knife sometimes. Um, so yeah, just be careful what you say. I think, life comes from your mouth, and if you speak life, you receive life. That's just kind of what I believe and how I've been operating in my life anyway. So, all right. Well, that's all going to be all for this episode. Like I said, maybe it's a little bit of a shorter one. Um, just kind of me riffing on what's going on. I thank you if you listened or watched all the way through. It's just been kind of me processing through some of the things on my mind, the things on my heart, and the things that are going on in my life. But I hope that this has maybe been helpful for you. If you listened all the way through, maybe you can apply some of these things in your life. Again, I'm not a super sage of deep wisdom, but I like to think I have some wisdom inside of this, empty vessel I have up in my noggin. So, but anyway, that is today's episode. I appreciate all of you for continuing to listen, continuing to watch, to share this episode and this show with anyone you think finds value out of it. It's truly near and dear to my heart. So, thank you all so much for tuning in. We really appreciate you, and we will talk to you next time. Take care.
Thanks for tuning in to Tech Bites, your go-to show for software business and technology. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button to stay updated with our latest episodes, insights, and stories. Hungry for more? Dive deeper into the world of no-code by visiting dapanacode.com. Your journey to building amazing software without coding skills starts there. Connect with like-minded creators and unlock a world of resources tailored just for you. Subscribe now. Explore Dapper No Code and let's innovate together.